Good afternoon, everyone. This is Andy Karuza, and I'm here for another Nacho Tuesday. Today we have Jared Koch with WellzyPerks, and today what we're going to be talking about is work-life balance and the importance of wellness trends in 2023. Given the fact that a lot of people are coming out of COVID, a lot of people are still dealing with PTSD from that and coming back into the office, and so a lot of companies are really wondering, how do I keep my employees happy and reintegrate them back into the the work life culture that people are used to, being remote workers for so long, coming back into the office. So Jared's here to give us some tips for what the latest trends are in 2023 for how you can keep your employees happy, working hard and living well. So without further ado, I'd love to have an elevator pitch from you, Jared, and introduce your platform to us.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. Happy to be here with you and everyone listening. So WellzyPerks is essentially a wellness perks platform. So we have basically what we're trying to do is bridge the gap. I believe there's like so many better for you brands out there, and really trying to bridge the gap between the consumer, the employee, and all of these better for you brands to make it easier for everyone to find them. And also get better value when they engage with them. And so what we've done is we've negotiated directly with the brands. We have over 200 brands currently on the platform. We're adding more on a weekly basis. And it really covers the gamut, from all different categories of wellness, from food to supplements to travel to clean beauty to even stuff for like pets, family. So really all the different categories, anything you could think of, educational stuff in there, fitness. And then the idea behind it is also a good mix of like really well-known brands and up and coming brands for discovery. So people could really learn about new brands, and we negotiate directly with the brands, and then the brands ultimately offer our members kind of really best in class premium perks and benefits. And, sometimes it might be extended trials or, even free stuff. But primarily it's discounts and savings. And it's not just, typically if you find a discount or a saving, it could be on like the first trial purchase. What we've done is we negotiated in almost all instances with the brands where they offer discounts on every time somebody orders from them that's a member of WellzyPerks. So as an example, like a bulletproof coffee, it's 25% off any order, anytime. And it's even better than their subscribe and save. And then some brands even allow you to stack the savings on top of their subscribe and save. So like we have a brand called Organifi that does like daily greens powders or protein powders. And, you could stack their 25 member discount on top of their subscribe and save 40% every month off of your order. So the savings can be quite substantial, and which in my mind kind of frees you up to like engage in the wellness activities that you want to. And because you're saving money, you're able to like your same budget is able to go a lot further, and you're able to actually have more wellness in your life and do more things, which is really the ultimate goal.
So what do you see as like some of the most popular products on your platform? Like what are a lot of your customers? What are a lot of your customers using these days?
So it's interesting, and we're tracking a lot of the the data and the analytics, and what's interesting is it's really a wide variety. Like we're seeing there's definitely interest in the different food stuff and the supplements, especially and like the coffee, and even like wine is popular, but also like like I was saying, the supplements are popular. A lot of that, like the mental health oriented stuff, which is definitely becoming more popular. Like we have Headspace on there as an example. And then just really diverse after that, even just like a lot of the home stuff, like people like which was a little surprising to me, but like candles and like like clean kind of non-toxic candles is like really popular. We just a lot of stuff for women, like clothing and like active wear, athletic wear. So it's really diverse mix, which has been interesting to see.
Yeah, if you guys have got melatonin, I might need that tonight for my red-eye flight.
There you go. We definitely have that. And I think we have some other, even some stuff that's like sleep stuff that doesn't have melatonin in it. So for this, like to avoid the melatonin.
Yeah. So yeah, I'd probably come to you for recommendations on what should I be taking. So tell us more about how you got started down this career. I mean, I'm personally a big fan of wellness, and I think a lot of companies miss on this. And that's why I was really excited about this interview today. So, what got you started down this path, trying to help other companies find better wellness for their employees?
Yeah, I'll give you the quick version of my life story, but I was I went to University of Michigan. I was actually pre-med, planning on going to medical school. I was accepted after I graduated into some New York area medical schools, which is where I was originally from.
Yep.
Thought I was going to just take off a year. I joined my brother in a business, like I was helping him, and ended up like turning into 10, 11 years, had like a very good, successful entrepreneurial experience. And then I wanted to kind of get back to my roots of health and healing, and thought about going to medical school, but started studying nutrition. And this was quite a while ago, before, like, now it's super popular, but so this was like early on in the days, and I just became kind of obsessed with nutrition, and spent many, many years studying that along with yoga and meditation, and then kind of went into like a part-time practice, like coaching people, and then started a company called Clean Plates, which I still have, which is a digital media content publisher. It's called cleanplates.com. It's all around like better for you eating and living, lots of great content. And that kind of led me, like that whole process led me to this idea for WellzyPerks, which kind of spent last year developing and creating the product, and then just launched it at the beginning of this year. And like I was saying earlier, just really wanted to kind of find a way that was really just, just like, there's just so many great people doing great things out there in the wellness space. And there's so many like elements to it, like, from like mental health to food to supplements, like just like, clean home, especially I have 3 young daughters, and just seeing just like every purchase that you make, you have to like really think through, like, how is it impacting them and their health? And so just really want and then also just the affordability of it all. I think, that I was hearing over and over again, like how expensive it is. Yeah, I'd like to like be healthier, but everything's so expensive, which is, unfortunately true. And just wanted to find a way to make it more affordable, more approachable, well, for more people ultimately.
That's a great mission. I love it. Yeah, and it's tough for a lot of companies too, like finding all the perks in one place. Like they might offer a little this, a little that, but what your company really does is brings them all together. So it's like a turnkey solution for companies that are serious about workplace wellness. So with that said, what tips would you offer the audience for finding work-life balance? And then why is it so important for attracting and retaining talent?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think I might be the worst person to ask that question to right now, since I'm between my 2 companies and my 3 daughters, and then them waking me up all the time. I'm probably not doing the best job, but I'm partially joking.
Well, they say the roofer's roof is always leaky because he's
exactly fixing everybody else's. So for me, it all starts. I was saying before, I studied a lot of meditation and yoga, and for me, the foundation of just like of balance in life, whether it's with work, with family, is taking care of your internal world, and really finding, which to me is also the root of all these like mental health issues that we're experiencing as a culture. And, we all experience it, myself included. And so just finding some kind of like meditation practice, and the old, there's spiritual elements to it, which you can get into, but ultimately it's really about having a healthier relationship with your internal world, your thoughts, your emotions, which most of us unfortunately have a dysfunctional relationship with that. We feel something and we don't want to feel that. And so we get all crazy. We feel something like anxiety, or thoughts are, and so we don't really know how to like relate to all of what's going on inside of us. And so for me, first step is really finding a practice that helps you to develop a better relationship with your internal world, and kind of everything then flows more easily from there.
Of course, it's feeling good. Yeah. If you feel good, you can perform well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And you're just more focused, you have more clarity, you're not like distracted by like anything that's happening internally. So it really makes a difference on both business and personal level.
Yeah, and probably you get off social media all the time too. It's not much to look at on there that's positive.
Yeah. Well, you learn, like, it's the big part of it is you learn, like, for me, like after that, it's like really like allocation of your like, resources, which is the biggest one we have is time. Like really all we have is like, where are we putting our focus? Where are we putting our attention? So easy for it to get, our attention to get sucked into social media, and I'm a victim of that also, and you just, it's easy to just scroll and all of a sudden you've wasted a half hour, you wasted an hour, and just so, and then you're not productive, whether it's at work, you're not spending quality time with your family or your friends, or on something that you really, a hobby that you have a passion about, or you're not spending time meditating or doing something that's good for you. So it's just like having a better kind of control over that, and like able to like kind of see it clearly and be able to make those decisions, even if you're feeling like an impulse to like be pulled to something else that's like kind of less beneficial.
Yeah. So what are some common perks that a company could offer its employees that really any company can get started with to put a wellness program into effect?
Well, that part of the reason why we created WellzyPerks. We're both kind of direct to consumer, but also employee wellness. So like that's what, we felt like, to your point earlier, like it's a kind of a all in one place. Like I think there's a lot of perks platforms that exist out there, but most of them are like all different things, and they might have some elements of wellness where we're like much more comprehensive and have a lot more depth and breadth, and also like a lot more of the up and coming companies, and because we really have our kind of fingers on the pulse of what's going out there. And I've been working with Clean Plates for like almost 12 years now, so really know what's going on in the industry. So that in and of itself, and then like even within the platform, there are perks that like offer things for the employees, from them being able to whether it's like apps like a Headspace, like I was saying, or there's even like lab tests. There's like functional medicine doctor visits, which is becoming popular. So there's all different things, whether ordering your supplements, ordering your food, like kind of digital fitness stuff or fitness equipment, all kinds of stuff. Even like massager. I mean, there's just so many different things that are on there that, like, depending on your interest, it gives you the ability to like engage in your wellness and kind of not only just like do the things you already want to do and save money, but discover new things that you didn't even know exist, which is, what we're getting a lot of feedback. People are excited. Like, oh, I just, found these 2, 3, 4, 5 companies that I never even heard of, and I love them.
Yeah, knowing's half the battle.
Yeah, exactly.
Most of it,
And it takes a lot of time to kind of sift through and like, who's kind of like health washing or greenwashing, and what's out there that really, is credible and doing a good job. And we kind of take the time to do all that for you.
Yeah. And so what are your thoughts on like other perks, like maybe some more abstract perks, like allowing for remote work, vacation time, and how to manage that? And then maybe even, you mentioned dogs earlier. I'm a big dog fan. So what are your thoughts on dogs in the office and bringing into that?
Yeah. I don't want to say anything that I'll get all the CEOs and HR people mad at me, but
Hey, this is a free space. So you can say whatever.
So, I'm a big believer in just, like that for the most part, we're adults, we're grownups. I still work virtually for the most part. So I think if you give people the ability to like be happy, then they end up being more productive. And so, and the reality is we all have responsibilities, whether it's kids or pets or, like have passions in our life, like travel. And I think the more we could create that balance and allow people to have the freedom to do that, I think the healthier and then the more productive people will be. Like, I just remember, when I was in New York City before I moved to the West Coast several years ago, we had an office and we would work there. And I remember even as like the CEO and the owner of the company, I would oftentimes find myself just like sitting there, like, like I would kind of be caught up. I would, kind of finding myself just spending time just to look like I was busy because I didn't want to leave the office early, and where I could have taken care of maybe some personal stuff and that, and still gotten work done. So, I think it's just like when we're kind of forced to like be somewhere, oftentimes it makes us unproductive. So I think finding ways to allow people to be more grown up and balance their time, and manage their time better, makes them ultimately more productive, and also not want to leave that situation because you appreciate the fact that you have a really good situation.
Yeah. And it's, for me, I always look at it, do they get the work done, right? I mean, I don't look at anything as like a 9 to 5, like, myself personally, I'll be up at 11 o'clock at night doing emails, getting work done, and but if you have to like do that doctor's appointment or something in the middle of the day, just, get it done. And,
right.
As long as you're, meeting your goals and you're getting your work done. And heck, I work a lot more than I'm supposed to.
Right. Well, I think that's what happens. You end up being more productive. And like, and if you start feeling like guilty, like, oh, I had to go to a doctor's appointment, you feel like people are watching over you. It just, it becomes an unpleasant feeling that you then relate to your job and not want to stay in it. And that's,
I think, happy, motivated people are always do better work. And, you find that they actually put in even more hours.
Yeah. And they care about this. Yeah. They care about the company. They care about the circumstances. Like they appreciate it. So they don't want it to change.
Yeah. Yeah. If you love what you do, and, in my opinion, you never work a day in your life. Like, I wake up every day excited to do stuff like this. So
exactly. No, for sure.
So where do you see wellness perks and trends evolving over the next few years? So what kind of what kind of trends do you think are going to be really important for corporate wellness?
I think the big thing I'm hearing, which I know I've said a few times, is really around the mental health. Like companies that I'm speaking to, like everybody's like really like that's their primary focus. And like you were saying earlier on when you first opened up about kind of PTSD with COVID and going in the transition from remote work to in office, there's just a lot of stress, and then just in general life is stressful and feels like it's speeding up. And so I think the mental health thing is a big thing. I also some of the other trends I'm seeing like more and more, and some of it relates to like insurance and where insurance is covering certain things. But like I was mentioning, there's, kind of a stream of form of medicine, which, these are medical doctors, but they practice called functional medicine, which is a little more there, based on like getting to the root cause. I have really good like testing to figure out what the root cause is. And they're getting like, there's a company called Parsley Health that is like a subscription functional medicine doctor practice, and they're like getting covered now by insurance. And so they're working on relationships with employers to be able, so for the employees to be able to get visits with these functional medicine doctors and get the proper testing. And so I think like a lot of stuff like that is also like coming down the pipeline more and more. So I know there's been a big push to get more coverage through insurance. So I would say that for me, those are the two big things I'm seeing and hearing about. But definitely the mental health is far and away like where people are focused, and that comes in different forms from, like I was saying, like whether it's the meditation apps or these like telehealth services, and and then like you were saying, like just some of these other like kind of loosening up of restrictions of like of that like work-life balance and allowing people to function with a little more autonomy.
Yeah, no, just rushing to the office every morning, wasting an hour in traffic both ways.
No, absolutely. Yeah, no, I did when I first moved out here to the West Coast. I live in the suburbs of San Francisco, and I had an office in San Francisco when I first got out here. And I was like, it took me literally like months. I was like, really, I'm commuting like 2 hours a day, like, and not really able to get much done while I'm doing, like, what's the point? Like
that Bay Area traffic. I lived there for 2 years. Now that I'm in Seattle today, but going back to New York tomorrow, or tonight. But yeah, living in New York is nice with all the public transportation. So you get places a lot more easily.
Yeah, definitely. That definitely makes it easier.
Yeah, those West Coast cities, though, man, you can be spending a lot of time in traffic.
No, absolutely. Yes.
So I guess, can you give some examples of some companies that you've seen that are doing a really great job at their wellness program that other companies might be able to emulate possibly?
I don't know if, I wouldn't say I have as much insight on a company by company basis. So I wouldn't want to kind of, I don't want to say anything that's not accurate. So I would just I don't want to make anything up, but like, there's so many companies out there. I mean, I know from some anecdotal stuff, like I know Google, obviously a huge company. And I know they even like from like back in the day, I used to do like speaking engagements there when I lived in New York City and like do some like different stuff with them. And they've always had like a really good kind of, forward thinking kind of culture around wellness, like even before it was popular. So obviously, which not a surprise, they do a really good job, but, so I know recently we spoke with Salesforce, and like from like, my understanding, not having much inside knowledge speaking to employees, but just speaking to their HR team, they seem like they really care and do a good job from the little that I learned. So, I mean, the good news is like, it seems like, everybody we're speaking to, which might also be why we're speaking to them, that, because the people we're speaking to is obviously has an interest in wellness, or otherwise they wouldn't be speaking to us. But there seems like there's like a real genuine like interest and care and like wanting to find solutions.
Yeah. So for anybody watching, there's some companies to check out there for you. You had a couple great examples right there. Well, great. So I guess failure comes with any profession. I've been an entrepreneur myself, and I've won some, you lost some, but sometimes the losses teach you the most, right? And I guess, do you have any examples of some great lessons you've learned from maybe some failures in your life?
Absolutely. Yeah, unfortunately, like you said, failure is part of, comes with the territory, it's just part of the process. I mean, like the clean plates that I have is I've been probably through like 6 different iterations of it over time. So, and it's hard to say something like it's hard to call it a failure always. It's like you as an entrepreneur,
It's always a work in progress.
yeah, it's a work in progress. You see things, you learn things, you kind of, change direction, you test things, you try things. So for me, that's just like, I don't think of it necessarily always as like failure. I just think of it as, part of the process, and you just keep moving and focusing on, what's happening in the present and forward looking. And, but to your point, I think that the key is always whatever, as you're moving, to always, take messages and, take the learnings, and not to keep repeating the same stuff over and over again.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, just every day, just get, better little by little.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's part of it. The mindset is like, do you have the mindset of like, like not holding on to things personally, and just knowing what the process is, and the mindset is growth and improvement. And if you like, that's part of your just mindset is like constantly improving, constantly like, how could we get better? How could, I think that just, that's part of like, both like a personal and a company culture.
Yeah, it's a marathon, not a race. The end result is, if you pace yourself and you kind of learn as you go, it's you'll get there. You know what I mean? But if you run too fast, talking about workplace wellness, you're going to burn yourself out.
Absolutely.
So I guess what books would you recommend for people? I'm sure there's a lot of great books that you've read on the topic. And did you write a book too? Or you seem like a guy that'd be able to write a great book on this subject.
I wrote. I wrote the books. I wrote a book more on like nutrition, and like it was like both like a combination of like my philosophy on nutrition and then recipes. So it was a cookbook called the Clean Plates Cookbook. And I haven't read. I used to like literally kind of growing up, going through college, and like as a young adult, would never like not have a book by my bedside. Would never not read. I've read a lot throughout my life, but like the last, I would say 10 years or so, 10 to 15 years ago, like between like running my business and then also like having kids. And now I have, I think I said earlier, 3 daughters. So my time to be able to read, other than read books to my children, is very limited. I'm actually reading one book right now that I'm really enjoying called Mastery.
Okay.
It's by like I guess a well-known Aikido instructor.
Oh,
and it's really interesting, but he kind of applies it to both kind of life, but also to business, and like the process of becoming a master, and like which never really ends. There never is like an end result. So I'm really enjoying that. That's actually it's really well done.
Yeah, the true wise man knows that he knows nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I guess what's one thing potential customers should know about your platform, and why they should pick you guys over, say some other program that might be out there? I mean, the choice is obvious for me, but everybody else watching.
Yeah, I think for me, it's a combination of a few things. One is that it's a really well curated mix of brands that are really doing a great job, which just doesn't exist elsewhere. There's a lot of like kind of general platforms where you see platforms with some like wellness brands, but it's like the common ones everybody's heard of. This is like a really good mix of like very popular ones and ones that are really up and coming, and we're constantly looking for new ones. And so that's a big focus for us, is the curation, the fact that it's also like all wellness brands. And then we really make a point to negotiate really good deals directly with the brands. And like I said, like it's not just on the first purchase. So if you really like a brand, you can get savings every time you engage with that brand, which is hard to find anywhere else out there. And then because we're really passionate about our mission, we're able to be like we're early on to some degree. We're really being super flexible on the pricing. So it's very, for companies that are looking for a really like affordable way, like to offer a really high value benefit. We're being very aggressive with the pricing. We really want to, build our membership and really just get it out there. So more people are engaging with these brands so we could fulfill our mission.
That's great. So what's next for you guys? I mean, obviously you're going to be adding a lot more great perks. You got any other like platform features coming out or anything like that?
We're thinking about it. We're also even exploring a lot of like AI and how we could kind of leverage that. So
AI meal planning.
What's that?
Like AI based like meal planning based on people's diets or whatever?
Yeah, potentially related to meal planning, relating to like, just good good content. I mean, we're also thinking about doing like a whole event series. We have all these like experts in general. We have relationships with a lot of experts in the field, but then also like a lot of these, what I realize over time is a lot of these founders of all these different companies, because they have a passion and an expertise, they develop their products or services, and they're a great wealth of information. And so like, even like
I'm interviewing right now.
yeah. And so like, yeah, just like doing some kind of like, event series. So yeah, we have a lot of ideas. We're kind of the core focus, since it's early on, is like just adding like really good high quality perks and continuing to do that. But then as we kind of build up membership and look at feedback from members, is to kind of create some like additional like value for the members.
Yeah, I could see there being a huge content play there. Similar to us, we love interviewing founders like yourself that are, masters at your own domain. And, we get a lot of, helpful insights from that we could share with our audience. But, you're in the exact same position, with your company. So there's a lot of great perks companies and platforms you work with. Maybe you could bring in a chef one day to talk about like healthy nutrition. And then, one day you could bring in a fitness guy. And, I could see that content program you're putting together being really successful, actually.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's definitely a big focus. And we do that for some of the companies, where we could create like custom content, like for like lunch and learns and like different events. So we're already kind of doing that on a custom basis. So we're trying to figure out how to like do it on a broad basis for everyone.
Great. Well, Jared, I really appreciate you coming on today. And, I learned some stuff today. That's always a good sign. Actually, I learned a lot. So, I really appreciate your time today, and, loved learning more about WellzyPerks. The next time I'm in the Bay Area, I'll definitely contact you, see if we get together there.
That would be awesome.
For everybody else watching this, please check out WellzyPerks today. And it's in the NachoNacho B2B SaaS marketplace. Great platform if you guys are serious about corporate wellness. It's definitely a big trend this year, and it's going to continue to become more important for your employees' health and wellness. So please feel free to check out Jared's platform today if you can. And once again, Jared, thank you for coming on, and we'll chat soon.
Awesome. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.